Today, I'm going to talk about 10 weird NMN effects. Now, everybody talks about NMN, or everyone that does talk about NMN talks about getting more energy, maybe better focus, maybe sleeping better, maybe some appetite suppression, or a better management of your appetite. And also, another one that comes up often is that I talk about often is recovery time from exercise. But I've noticed, and I am noticing, more and more effects. And they come across as weird, partly because I don't expect them, because people don't mention them. And that's why I'm bringing them up here. And partly because they're just kind of strange. There's a cognitive dissonance towards anti aging when it starts to happen for you. And I definitely feel that it's been happening for me. These things catch you by surprise. We age so slowly over time that we lose sight or we lose track of certain things that we used to notice or feel or experience when we were younger, and then they change over time. And when it changes back, it's just it is weird. I don't know how else to say it. The 10 things I want to talk about today, and there's more. There's some bonus ones in between. I'm going to start at 10 and work my way to number 1. But number 10 is sensitivity to hot and cold. I noticed this last winter. I noticed going outside in a short sleeve shirt when other people were wearing jackets and not feeling like I thought it was cold today. It doesn't really feel so cold. And as winter went on, it wasn't a particularly cold winter, but I never had that bone-chilling cold. It was the first time I could remember in decades. Again, something you sort of lose sight of. When you're younger, you go out all the time in a thin jacket and your mom yells at you, put a coat on, put a sweater on. But you're young, you're invincible, you don't feel it. You're not feeling it, the cold in your bones like you do when you get older. And I'm back to that, and it's continuing now. It's starting to get cold again. This is the second winter, and same thing, even better. I just don't feel it. I'm outside running. Sometimes I'll get a little warm. I'll run without a jacket at all, and everyone's bundled up. It's like 40s or 50s. It's not really cold yet, but Germans do dress for it. They have the clothes for it. They're ready for it. It's October, and it's getting cooler here. And I'm just not feeling it. It doesn't feel cold to me. So it's really, really a nice thing. I have to say this is a weird effect, but a really nice one. On the flip side of this summer was quite hot. And other people mentioned this as well, not feeling like I was overheated, not feeling the discomfort from being hot. Another thing that would happen to me that stopped happening, and I told you there's going to be some bonus effects in between these. It's hard to avoid. I probably could have made this 30 weird NMN effects if I wanted to. I don't have the same level of perspiring. So yeah, I still perspire. I get sweaty. I get the wet pits. Sorry to be descriptive, but I said weird. But I don't get that, anymore. So I'm very comfortable wearing a sweatshirt, without a zipper. It's actually feels really nice for a change. And that harkens back to when I was in my 20s or when I was in my teens, and I'd wear those things all the time. It's really nice. And then that even makes it easier to just go outside without a jacket, because at least I got, I got a long sleeve shirt on. So that's number 10. Number 9 is also another strange one that I didn't notice right away, but this is very recent that I had this realization. My gums are not bleeding when I brush my teeth and floss. I do it every day. I still, out of habit, use a medium toothbrush. Haven't progressed to a real soft toothbrush to avoid that, so maybe that would have been the move to make. However, the gums stopped bleeding. So I brush my teeth pretty aggressively, probably twice as long as I used to, because I enjoy it more. It's not sensitive. It doesn't bother me. And I'm flossing, and yeah, it's fine. So it's weird. As I said, these are weird effects. Definitely something that was when I was younger. A related bonus effect is my cuts heal faster. I'm going to talk about skin in a moment here, but I don't have the dry skin I had in the past. And especially from playing tennis, my skin would get dry and then split open at the tip. So I would always be putting those Band-Aids on. If you've ever seen Rafa Nadal, he's always got all these Band-Aids. And but what would happen to me is I'd put them on to cover up these cracks that would happen, and now I don't even need them anymore. I'm able to play without them, so my skin is not cracking. And when I do get a little cut or a paper cut or something happens in the kitchen, I cut myself a little bit on something, it heals like in half the time it was. So my cuts are healing faster, and I don't have this dry skin. I mean, it's like they're totally clean. My fingers are clean. I mean, this is a physical thing. It's weird, but it's definitely happening. Number 8 is my skin is softer. This sounds kind of, I don't know, superficial or lighthearted in a way, but it's a big, big deal for me to notice this, because when I feel like my face, it feels like it did 30 years ago. Like it feels that way. And one of the weirdest things that happens is if you're a man and you shave, you notice that sometimes the hairs, like, they get off track, they get off target, and they grow like out of your cheek. So you'll get like a face hair here. And you don't really need to necessarily shave, or you try and shave it and it's still there. Sorry, weird, right? So I tweezer it out. Well, I eventually stopped doing that. And if you've noticed some older guys that are shaved and they'll have a hair coming out of their face, there's a reason that they don't just pluck those out. It's because their skin loses the elasticity, and you can damage your skin by plucking those out. It's under the layer of the skin where the root is, so it damages you. I'm not getting that anymore, so I find my skin feels a lot softer now. I even think it looks smoother in the videos, even from a year ago. And I can't say that that's specifically NMN. By the way, all of these aren't necessarily just NMN. It's NMN and associated supplements that I take to support the NMN. The NMN is probably the big one here. But my skin is softer, and if I get some of these stragglers and I just go ahead and pluck them out with a little tweezer, there's no mark. There's no damage to the skin. The elasticity is a lot better, and it's just smooth. It's just gone. So strange, I know, weird, but real and happening to me. Number 7 is I have a spring in my step. Again, that just sounds like a comment. Oh, great, you got a spring in your step. Good for you. In actuality, it's quite significant because I've mentioned many times before, I had a lot of pain just going for walks. Now I not only go for walks, but I walked with my family on the weekend through Wiesbaden, a nearby city here. It's a very well-walked city, so there's a lot of people walking around. And we had dinner, and I was feeling good. I had a song idea. That's a whole other topic that I'm not even going to get into today, but I've been getting a lot more song ideas as a writer. I'm going to get back to doing more music again. Because of that, I'm just getting more ideas. So I had an idea, and I start singing it, and I pull out my phone, and I recorded the idea real quickly just to get it, committed to something. And I kept singing after I recorded the idea part. I kept singing, and I started to skip. But I wasn't, almost like just to make a point to my kids, like how fit I want them to be and how fit I am. I start skipping sideways and then backwards, and then I'm dancing, singing. People are like, what is that guy? But they're kind of laughing at me. Like, I don't care. I could care less. My kids are getting a little embarrassed, or they're acting like it, but I think they get a big kick out of it. My kids love that I take NMN. They ask me all the time, how old are you today, Dad? They love it. They get it. And they really appreciate it, and a lot of it is for them. I also have been buying new clothes. This is just kind of related to this, which also kind of accentuates my mood, puts a little more skip in my step. I feel good in the new clothes, new shoes. I'm moving well, new gym shoes. I've got some bounce in my step, and it's fun. It's fun to be wearing clothes again, to be wearing colors again, to be away from hiding behind that XL black shirt. Now I'm wearing a size L and medium shorts, and it's odd. I can't. It's literally been over 30 years since I've worn any sizes like that. Used to be an L many moons ago. All I can remember it being is an XL, and it's really strange going into the stores and buying, just going right to the L or looking on the hanger for the Ls. And if I see something cool, the L's gone. It's like being bummed. Well, there's lots of XLs, and I'm not going to get them because they're like wearing a tent. I mean, this is an L and it's loose, and yeah, I'm not overly skinny. I mean, I'm not built right, but I've got some muscle tone too, so I don't feel like a twig. So I feel good. I feel good. I got that bounce in I got that spring in my step, that bounce in my step. I'm more spontaneous. What's that mean? Well, yeah, I don't have to plan a trip to France. The other day I woke up and said, let's go to France. Like it's a 2 hour drive. And I'm uncomfortable when I drive. Don't like driving. So I plan it around workouts and when I can deal with it. Am I going to have some time the next day to recover from the driving, to France and back? If we don't stay overnight. If we do stay overnight, that brings in another layer of complexity because now we got to carry, all kinds of bags and suitcases, whatever we're bringing with us. So now I'm more ambitious. I'm more spontaneous. I'm ready to go. We didn't go that day, but we're going in a couple weeks. And I'm excited about it. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to test out this new body and run around and have fun. Running around France is something we really like to do. And I enjoy all that kind of stuff a lot more now. My kids, more ambitious with, if I go out and play some sports with my kids, what would always happen is the next day they'd want to do it again. So if we went out and kicked the soccer ball, the next day they want to go kick the soccer ball. And I was like 2-3 years ago, no, we did that. Maybe next month, maybe in 2 weeks. I got to recover from that. And they'd be like, ooh. And now I'm the one going, let's go play tennis again. I could play every day. There's no issues with recovery. I'm more ambitious, more spontaneous, having more fun in my life. Number 5 is no pain driving. Now I mentioned I don't like driving. This again just occurred to me. I'm like driving around. I'm like, my lower back is not hurting. It's been years. It's been 15, 20 years of lower back pain when I drive a car. It's always, I carry tennis balls in the compartment in between the front seats just to shove them back there. They don't heal anything, but it gives me something to do to at least apply some pressure to my lower back. And it's completely gone. Yes, maybe it's all fitness, but I was doing running before. It never worked before. But now with NMN and these other associated treatments and wellness approaches, it's gone. So it's great. It's a great thing, and I'm ready to go. Number 4, my mood is easier to manage. If a couple members of my family are kind of going at each other, and it's escalating, and there's some yelling going on, in the past, I would start yelling, you stop yelling, and you stop yelling. And then my wife would say, well, now you're yelling. And that still happens from time to time. But it's a lot easier for me to sort of just look at the two and go, hey, want to go kick the soccer ball? Just diffuse the situation because I feel fine and because, I don't need to elevate myself. I don't need to escalate my own anger just to diffuse theirs. So it's easier to manage that. And it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun for them. And they just sort of go, yeah, okay, let's go. Or I'll read to one of them or something. Less naps. Now, I said that sleep was something that comes up a lot, but this is the context of what I mean. This is a little different. I'm not napping as much. And when I do, it's much shorter. So it's 20, 30 minutes instead of an hour or two. I had many, many times where I'd gotten to the point where I said, I'm crashing, I'm hitting a wall, and I would sleep for an hour or two. And I'm not a morning person. So morning entails coffee, another cup of coffee, a few hours of time, reading some things. In the past, I didn't get a lot done before noon. Even when I was employed by others, mornings were not particularly productive for me. I'd make up for it in the afternoons, and I do a lot of work in the evenings. That's really when I shine the brightest as a musician, but I'm getting a lot more done. I'm shooting this video, around noontime. So I'm getting a lot more done earlier in the day. I'm more of a morning person. Those naps, the long naps, it was like morning all over again. Like I'd get up, I'd want another cup of coffee. It was having to go through morning twice a day. It was a chore. And so I have nothing like that anymore. I bounce up from that 20, 30-minute nap and I'm like refreshed and ready to go, which, a nap should be. It shouldn't like knock you out a second time. I feel more robust. That's number 2. More robust in many, many ways. One of them being metabolism. I talk a lot about eating healthy, and I talk a lot about eating the fruits and vegetables that the flavonoids come in, that some of these supplements that I take come in, and how it helps things out. But what I've noticed lately, and if you saw the thumbnail, This is a bag of bugles. I've noticed that I can eat a handful of these and feel fine. Now, I don't recommend this. The stuff in these, it's not great for you. But when you get robust, I'll talk about a story. I used to live in California for many years, and they have 7-Elevens. And if you've ever been to a 7-Eleven or many convenience stores in the States, they have these little rolling hot dogs, the machines that it just sits and turns all day long. And then you'll see a guy in work boots and giant, huge, muscular guy who looks like nothing can destroy him. And he'll grab two of those things and he'll throw some condiments on it. I guess his salad is the relish. And he'll have like two giant Monster energy drinks and a pack of cigarettes, and that's it. That's lunch. And I used to just marvel at those guys. I'm like, how are those people constructed? What kind of robust construction do they have that they're just fine? They're going to go out and build a road, and that's their fuel. And I can't even eat one of those without having heartburn and serious, maybe even end up. I ate a chocolate cookie 3 years ago and ended up in the ER. One chocolate cookie. Okay. So I can't even imagine eating the crap that they're eating or drinking a Monster energy drink, and they're grabbing, like they're double fisting them. They got two giant ones, and that's just lunch. They probably had one or two for breakfast already. I don't know how they do it, but I'm starting to be reminded of what it feels like to be younger. And having a handful of chips or bugles and not feeling the effects at all from it, and not feeling the effects the next day. When I say robust, my metabolism is so revved up and it's working so great that the stuff doesn't even faze me at all anymore. Wash it down with a beer and keep on going. Make sure I have some salad for dinner. Make sure I get my avocado, my cucumbers, my leafy greens, and I love that stuff. And I feel a lot of energy from that stuff, which I never noticed before when I was younger. So in many ways, I'm healthier than I ever was. No more allergy symptoms. I had those my entire life. That's not even on this list. Number one, and I've actually got a couple number ones. Like there's two things that happened, and I just couldn't choose. Number one is my condition is improving. Now, this is really weird because you take NMN for a month or two and you feel good and you're like, I feel so good. And, I guess I just have to keep taking it now. And I'll add this and I'll add that and I'll do this and I'll do that. And I feel more motivated to do those things because I have more energy, because I feel better. And now I want to maintain that. Like, I think we miss the point, and it's quite surprising that it improves. No, that's just the beginning. That's just 2 months. Wait a year or two and you really are going to feel great, and you're really going to have energy, and your skin's really going to feel soft. And all of these things that I'm mentioning are going to start to, manifest themselves for you. I hope, I intend, I plan for, I expect. And that's pretty darn cool that we don't know where this curve is going. How far, we're getting older. We're declining. You go to a doctor, you have some symptoms, and he looks at you and he says, you're fine. You're just getting old. It's normal at your age. Like, come on, you guys are watching this. I know the age group of my audience. I know many of you have heard this from your doctor or from some health practitioner. You're just getting old. That's just how it works. Maybe from your parents, maybe from an aunt, maybe an uncle. Yeah, welcome to the crowd. You're getting old. It just gets worse from here. No, it doesn't have to. I'm telling you. And that's really why I wanted you to stick around for the end of this. I'm telling you that there's a multitude of things that can get better for you. If they got better for me, it's biochemistry. They can get better for you. The bonus number one is making plans. I've talked about this before, but can I tell you what a big deal it is? And I think other people need to realize, you guys need to realize that your life can be so much different. Don't listen to the doctor. You don't have to go hide behind an oversized black t-shirt. You can have your life back. You can make plans. You can wow your doctor. I would just ask you to call your doctor if you're having some results from NMN and let them know. First of all, ask them, do you know what NAD is? And if they don't know what NAD is, because it's so prevalent in every living cell, fire your doctor. I'm not anti-doctor, but if they don't know what NAD is, and I've run across doctors that don't even know what it is. And that is really frightening to me because we've known what NAD is in the scientific world for over 100 years. So it's not possible that they can't know what it is. They just forgot, and it's just not front of mind. It's not top of mind in their discussion with their patients. And we're finding out more and more it should be. It's one of the fastest sectors of medicine. They may surprise you. They may say, we've been hearing about this. I'm aware of the research that's going on at UCLA and other places where they're getting results with Parkinson's and long COVID and lupus, and I'm really intrigued by this. And then you got a winner, guys. Don't fire him. Or and they may be offering it already. Yeah, you can. What, you want one? I got some vials right here, and come and get it. We've been treating long COVID with it. It's working out great. So I'd like us to start taking some action. And what is a phone call really so much? Pick up the phone, call your doctor, ask what they know about it. I'm very curious. There's enough information out there that you're not going to be embarrassed if they start looking it up, right? It's not controversial to the point of he shouldn't know about it. Like, it's so controversial, I don't even have time for that. That's just not the case. So there you go. You have your assignment today. You have some more specific weird NMN effects, and I look forward to hearing more from you guys and talk to you soon.